Autumn 1984, the Barents Sea. Just one shot and the world was on the brink of World War III. An American missile cruiser at full speed bursts into the Soviet Navy's secret testing range. Helicopters in the air, torpedoes underwater. A duel begins that lasts for 40 minutes. 40 minutes of pure adrenaline and fear. Ship commanders have their fingers on the triggers. But this story is just the tip of the iceberg. Behind this skirmish lies the main naval secret of the Cold War, a weapon the West feared more than ballistic missiles. Today, for the first time, we reveal the whole truth about the Russian torpedo, from its birth to modern models that still have no equal in the world. Let's dive into the depths. So what really happened in those icy waters? Picture this. Soviet sailors are calmly conducting routine torpedo drills. After a practice attack, the torpedoes surface, their orange hulls visible for kilometers. And at that moment, cutting through the water like a hot knife through butter, enters the USS Yatahe. Name is fictional, but sounds authentic. A powerful U.S. Navy missile cruiser. The Americans act boldly and fast. They lower high-speed motorboats into the water. Why? To recover our practice torpedoes. This is an intelligence gold mine. But the Soviet command didn't panic. Two Mi-14 helicopters are scrambled to intercept. One pushes the motorboat away from the valuable prize, while the other engages in an aerial duel with an American Sprite helicopter that scrambled from the cruiser. For 40 minutes over the Barents Sea, this insane chase continued. The Soviet helicopter prevented the Sprite from covering the torpedo recovery operation. Meanwhile, guard ships were literally pushing the American cruiser out of the testing range. A shot could have been fired at any moment, but war was averted. However, NATO had good reason to hunt for those torpedoes, and now you're about to find out why. This story began not in '84 but 30 years earlier. The Korean War. U.S. President Dwight Eisenhower had already issued orders to use atomic bombs. Stalin had a response, an incredible, monstrous project. Imagine a torpedo 24 meters long, weight 40 tons. Instead of a conventional warhead, a thermonuclear charge capable of wiping an entire coastline off the map. This was the Tsunami plan, the T-15 torpedo. Its target wasn't ships, but the coastal cities of the USA and Great Britain. The impact of such a wave would cause radioactive contamination for hundreds of kilometers. But the project proved too cumbersome. The sailors came to their senses in time. How do we load this monster? How do we fire it? The T-15 was abandoned, but a brilliant idea was born. What if we make an atomic torpedo of a standard caliber? And so, in 1957, the T-5 torpedo was born. While the West boasted about its hydrogen bombs, considering the USSR incapable of a response, Soviet sailors were preparing a surprise. October 10, 1957. Novaya Zemlya. The diesel submarine S-144, under the command of Captain Georgy Lazarev, makes a historic shot. From a range of 10 kilometers, the T-5 torpedo with a nuclear warhead submerges, and at a depth of 35 meters, a monstrous explosion occurs. Power, tens of kilotons. The damaging effects were recorded by hundreds of sensors placed on decommissioned target ships, and you know who was on their decks? Pigs and sheep. Their skin is similar to human skin, and they were dressed in sailor uniforms. Cruel, yes. But this is how Soviet scientists learned how to protect crews from radiation and shock waves. It was a triumph. The USSR had a nuclear torpedo 2 years before the USA. The underwater Cold War entered a new era. The main target for Soviet submarines became U.S. aircraft carrier strike groups. But how do you get close to these floating fortresses, surrounded by dozens of escort ships? They needed a weapon that left no chance. The answer was the heavy 650 caliber torpedoes, true carrier killers. Imagine 700 kg of explosives, a speed of 50 knots, a range of 50 kilometers, And most importantly, stealth. A missile is visible, its launch is detected. But a torpedo is a silent ghost underwater. It's only detected when it's too late. The Americans nicknamed it Death Carrier. And we also had our own James Bond gadgets. For example, the GP-74 device, a submarine noise simulator. It not only paints a phantom submarine, leading anti-submarine forces astray, but can also blind enemy sonars with powerful jamming. Remember the scene in the movie, The Hunt for Red October? It's almost identical, only our system is cooler. The 1990s. It seemed the empire of torpedo warfare had collapsed. Factories were looted, design bureaus sold off. Hollywood even made a film where Russian nuclear torpedoes were sold to terrorists, but they miscalculated. Russia not only preserved the Gidropribor school, it took it to a new level. Look at this. The Universal Deep-Sea Homing Torpedo UGST, caliber 533. It can engage targets at depths of up to 1,000 meters, where no NATO torpedo can reach. Its engine runs on liquid fuel with colossal energy density. Its engine power is comparable to a loaded KAMAZ truck. Why are torpedoes still so important? Because they are the final argument in an underwater war. Silent, inevitable, and devastating. Winston Churchill once said that Russia is a riddle, wrapped in a mystery, inside an enigma. These words perfectly describe its torpedo weapons, and for every one of its secrets, the enemy, if push comes to shove, will have to pay the ultimate price. So that's the story. From Stalin's nuclear Leviathan to the invisible carrier killers. If you found it as fascinating as I did, give this video a thumbs up. It's the best support for us. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell because next week we're revealing another secret. How a single Soviet fighter jet made the entire US carrier fleet tremble. Tell us in the comments, what Cold War weapon do you want us to cover next?